Did you know that anxiety affects over 40 million adults in the United States every year? That's nearly 1 in 5 people. And here's the thing, anxiety doesn't just affect how you feel, it's one of the biggest reasons we procrastinate. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had something important to do, but instead you found yourself watching videos of adorable animals? Like suddenly you're 40 minutes into the montage of puppies and you're thinking, okay, I'll start my task after this next one. But then another video pops up. And before you know it, your task is still sitting there and the pressure's building. And maybe you found yourself reorganizing your office supplies, scrubbing your counters like you're auditioning for a cleaning commercial, or alphabetizing your bookshelf for the third time this month. Anything to avoid the thing you know you need to do. You're not lazy. You're not unmotivated. You're just stuck in that anxiety and procrastination loop. I'm Dr. Amir Hall. I'm an energy psychologist. And for over 25 years, I've helped people break free from emotional and mental patterns that hold them back. Today, I'm going to show you why anxiety fuels procrastination and why your brain thinks it's helping you. How to break the anxiety-procrastination cycle. A simple 3-step system helps you let go of fears and take action even when it feels impossible. And by the end of this video, you'll know how to stop procrastinating, not by forcing yourself to push through it, but by rewiring your brain, calming your body, and creating a sense of safety. Let's talk about what actually happens in your brain when you procrastinate, because once you understand this, it's a total game changer. So whenever you feel anxious about a task, whether you're finishing a project, making a difficult phone call, or even starting something new, your brain goes into fight or flight mode. Your amygdala, that part of your brain that's responsible for processing fear, lights up. It's basically screaming, it's dangerous, avoid this at all costs. And while your amygdala is freaking out, your prefrontal cortex, that logical part of your brain that helps you make decisions, literally goes offline. And it's like the brain is saying, look, I know we've got this thing to do, but I'm not available right now. Christine Bell said it best.
The brain is really tricky.
And it is. Your brain convinces you that avoiding a task will keep you safe. That's why instead of starting, you scroll through your phone, clean your house, or focus on tiny, low priority tasks. And here's the sneaky part. Avoiding the task gives you a temporary sense of relief. Your brain thinks, see, that was the right move. You feel better now. But the task doesn't go away. The deadline gets closer and the pressure builds. And this creates a vicious cycle. Anxiety, avoidance, temporary relief, more anxiety, rinse and repeat. You got it?
You're not a procrastinator. You have a habit of procrastinating. Big difference.
Habits can be broken. Patterns can be changed. But first we need to understand why they exist. Let me share 2 quick stories because I know this isn't just theory. The cycle shows up in real life and it affects all of us in different ways. Lisa was working as a regional manager in corporate for over 17 years. She was smart, she was capable, and hardworking. But she started feeling invisible and sidelined, and that her contributions didn't matter. And every time she had a big project to work on, she'd feel so overwhelmed with all this anxiety within her that it would freeze her. So instead of starting, Lisa would spend hours doing safe tasks, formatting spreadsheets, answering emails, or even helping co-workers with their projects. She'd tell herself, I work better under pressure. But the deadline would hit and then she'd panic. Lisa would stay up all night, rushing to finish, and then submit something she wasn't even really that proud of. When Lisa came to me, we discovered her procrastination wasn't about laziness. It was about her fear. She was terrified of making mistakes. She was terrified of losing the job. But once we worked through on calming her nervous system and clearing the fear, Lisa started tackling projects with confidence, and she began her job outreach. And within weeks, she applied for a role, turned out to be her dream job because she got it with just 1 interview and 1 application. She got a 40% pay bump. Now let's talk about Justin. He owns a construction company, and on the surface, he seemed super confident and Mr. Cool. But behind the scenes, Justin was really struggling. Whenever he needed to pitch for a new contract or follow up with clients, Justin would feel paralyzed by anxiety. Instead of tackling those big important tasks, he would distract himself with busy work, tweaking proposals that didn't need tweaking, reorganizing his office, and scrolling through his phone. At home, he avoided conversation with his wife about their finances because he felt like a failure. To cope, he was popping Adderall like Pez, and at night, he'd drink excessively to calm down. When Justin came to me, we worked on calming his nervous system and letting go of these unconscious blocks that were holding him back. And within 2 short months, he saw $9 million in new contracts, stopped the Adderall cold turkey, and his marriage literally blossomed. He said it was like they were on their honeymoon again after 15 years of marriage. Now let's talk about your story, because this isn't about Lisa or Justin. We all deal with anxiety and procrastination in very different ways. But the good news is it's possible to break the cycle. As Brené Brown says,
we all grew up and experienced at varying degrees trauma, disappointment, hard stuff. We armored up, and at some point, that armor no longer serves us.
Procrastination is one of those armors. It's your brain's way of protecting you from discomfort, but it's not serving you anymore. It's time to let it go. And here's how. Step number 1. When you're feeling anxious, your mind is spinning 1,000 miles a minute. The first step is to ground yourself and bring yourself into focus in the present moment. Here's a powerful technique that I use in my programs where you can just imagine a cord or a tree root from the base of your spine to the center of the earth, and just feel yourself connected to the Earth's energy and engage the gravitational pull of the planet. And as you do this, imagine everything that you're holding on to, the stress, the fear, the tension, flow away down that cord to dissolve in the center of the earth. Just take a few deep breaths and just let it go. And this practice not only calms your mind, but it signals to the body that we're safe. We can handle it. Step 2, take a moment to identify the thoughts and the fears that are holding you back. Maybe you're afraid of failing, being judged, or not being good enough. And these beliefs might not always be obvious, but they're running the show behind the scenes. I always say it's like a ticker tape running around and around and you're not aware of it. Here's a fun way to let them go. Imagine all those negative thoughts or limiting beliefs and fears, pack them into that stick of dynamite, light the fuse and watch it kaboom explode and let it all disappear. Or picture them inside a helium balloon and then just watch it lift up and float away. That's a simple visualization that helps your mind release what's no longer serving you so that you can focus on what really matters to you. And now step number 3. Finally, instead of trying to tackle the entire task at once, start with small, manageable steps. If you're working on a report, don't think about the whole project or report. Just open the document and write the first sentence. If you're avoiding a phone call, just dial the number and let the conversation flow naturally. Breaking the anxiety-procrastination cycle isn't about forcing yourself to just do it. It's about calming the mind, creating a sense of safety in your body, and letting go of the fears that are holding you back. Procrastination isn't a flaw, it's just a pattern. And like every pattern, it can be broken. So the next time you feel stuck, take a deep breath, connect to the earth, and remind yourself, you've got this. You're more capable than you think. And if you want to learn more about transforming these fears and anxiety, go ahead and drop me a like below so that it helps me know that I should create more content like this.